Yeah, we're talking about creation, creativity, being creative, and creating things. And I thought, what more better place to start speaking about this besides the greatest creation that ever took place, and that's the natural planet Earth. Standing on the earth, God's green earth, the trees, the blue skies, the sun, the dandelions, the flowers, the fresh air. What better place? We're always confronted with the most extravagant, the most beautiful, and the most complex creation every time we wake up, every time we walk out the door, and that we walk and we mingle with this creation. This is God's artwork. He is the master of creation, and this is his masterpiece. One of them, should I say, because you and I are also his masterpieces. And we're created in the image of him to be creators also. I think sometimes we get to the point to where we confine creativity to certain demographics and certain venues and certain, how would I say that, to certain areas of life, you know? And we want to make sure that we're using this paintbrush and we're using such a wide, broad stroke to let us all know that creativity and creation is not confined to a certain demographic or to a certain area of life. It is wide and broad, and it is open for all of us. And I want to go into a few more organic thoughts about this. So let's step inside as we go over those into a more quiet place, and then I can concentrate and share these thoughts with you. So let's get into this. Creativeness. And I know that word causes some people to cringe, and some people might even check out because they figure when they hear creativeness that it has solely to do with the arts and talent. And somewhat it does, but it's not limited to just the arts. So please do not get caught up into that, because we all have creative abilities. We all have the gift of being creative, because you and I and everybody else on the face of this earth have been created by the original creator. And he would not have only gave creative abilities to some people and not others. The thing is, we have to understand that it's not a certain few genres that have creativeness. It's every genre. It's every fiber of the world that we need to be operating and functioning in creative abilities and inspiration. In the business world, in the political world, in the education world, in the sport world, in the arts and entertainment world, yes, we do need it there as well. Yes, there's very talented people in those arenas. However, they've gotten to the place to where they find patterns and cookie cutter type things that work and that they sell. And so they continue on with those same patterns, and sometimes they can't really see creativeness when it's staring them in the face, or new ideals, a new way to do things. Now, we have grown immensely in the technology field. Yes, we have. But if you look at some of the other areas of our society, we've been doing the same thing the same way for decades. Some things we've been doing the same thing for centuries. And we have to realize that these areas and these segments of society and fibers of our whole world are just waiting for people like you and I with creative ideas and creative inspiration to come in to these arenas with solutions to the problems, to add new information and new way of doing things to come out with better results, higher results. That's what this world is looking for. Creative people to come to their places of business, to come to their places of employment with their, as they say back in the romper room days, putting on our thinking caps and thinking, and not just doing the same thing over and over again the same way, but we're actually thinking, we're actually going into spaces of meditation and getting intertwined and involved with the spirit of the creative inspiration and receiving ideas, receiving knowledge, receiving wisdom and ideas of witty inventions. And then we're bringing those into the world. So don't think that you're without creative ideas. The only thing, the problem is that you may have failed to realize that you're creative in doing the things that you need to do to tap into that space and to receive some of this information. Yes, we need creative ideas in our homes. We need creative motivators and creative speakers and creative preachers, creative politicians. We need creative parents that are looking to do things in creative ways to come up with different solutions, not the same solutions that are giving us the same problems that we had in the 1950s. We should be further along in the parenting arena than we are in 2023. Are our kids any better off today than they were in 1950? The answer is no. So what's the problem? Because we're not using our creative ideas. We're not using our creative inspiration to bring new things to new problems. And that's why a lot of the youth that have turned to adults are frustrated, because they're not finding places or people who are welcoming them with open arms, who are comforting them, and who are fostering and nurturing and cultivating their ideas, their gifts, and their talents, and showing them that there is a place for them in this world. Yes, they may have something that's never been seen. They may be saying things that's never been heard before, and they have these ideas that are just cutting edge. But because we are so used to the things the way we've been doing them, we don't want to hear that, and we're trying to fit a square peg into a round hole, and we're trying to force people to do things the way the herd is going, and everybody is not cut out to do things the same way everybody is, or the majority of the people are doing them. And so that's when the creative ideas and the creative inspiration comes in, and we need to think outside of the box. I know that sounds cliché, and a lot of people say it, but we're talking about demonstrating this and doing this every day of our life and going to bat for people so they don't end up on the street, so they don't end up in child protection, and they don't end up in juvenile facilities, and they don't end up in the prisons, and they don't end up in insane asylums. These people are created by the same original creator that you and I created by. So what do you think happened to some of these people? Why do people turn to drugs and alcohol? Because there's something that they want to get out. There's something that they need to get out, and they haven't found the right avenue or the right people who are going to help them with their ideas, with their thinking, with their problems, with their troubles, with their struggles. And it's up to us to think outside of the box. I say that again. But we need some real creative psychiatrists some creative psychologists, some creative doctors in the medical field. So I wanted to bring this message because it was something that was impressed upon me to let people know that artists and creative people are not confined to pottery, to painting, to music, to drafting, to tie-dye, and to the fashion world. And it goes on, but they're not confined to those worlds. You have been put on notice today that you are creative, and we need your creative abilities to the forefront now. I hope this message finds you well, and that you are in good health, and that your soul is prospering, and that you continue to feed it things that are going to help it to continue to prosper, so that you may walk in better health, and that you may walk in divine health, even as you prosper and walk into more creative abilities. God bless you. Until the next message.